Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, we got breaking news. Well, it's been officially 9 hours since this was breaking, but in the morning we woke up to find that um the inevitable has occurred. Kamala Harris has chosen Tim Walz, my good old governor from Minnesota, to be her running mate. And we're going to be discussing what Tim Walz puts on the table. And questions arising: should we be concerned regarding Tim Walz? What is he capable of doing? So, anyway, let's get started here. So, updated polling situation: Kamala Harris, of course, has taken the average by, I would say, 0.70%. I'm just relieved. I'm just glad it's in the 70s, like in the 0 point percentage area, but there we still have a lot to do, um, a lot to keep regarding the real clear polling. As you can see here, we need to, in order, let's just say, keep Pennsylvania. Let's see, Pennsylvania is looking pretty good, although there has been a tie in the said race now. I would say Bucks County is out of play now. It's going in the hands of Kamala Harris. But you would also get, so yeah, there's Pennsylvania, there's Wisconsin. It's hanging on a thread. There a Harris +2 poll from July. I'm hoping that we can get another Trump poll, but I would say the likelihood has pretty much collapsed. Yes, we're holding on to Arizona, 0.8 point here, and with Georgia, we have one Harris poll resulting to a 0.8. And I don't think there has been a poll in Michigan since. So, yes, we are struggling, but um, will we make a comeback? I am hoping with the economy, um, along with, as you should know, in regards to the, I would say in this case, the stock market crash, we could possibly make a comeback. Possibly a big possibly. It's not guaranteed, but anyway, let's go ahead and talk about who Tim Walz is. Tim Walz, thing you should know about Tim Walz. Tim Walz, despite being very progressive, this guy has been, I'm a very educated, a very self-instructed sort of individual. Yes, it's true. He was indeed selected to be um Kamala Harris's running mate, and it couldn't be anyone else. I mean, Josh Shapiro, the my concerns for him has collapsed, learning that he has hush money scandals along with um a a pro Palestine, as you know, backlash. Um, but Tim Walz, a lot of people are saying, oh, Tim Walz is going to give so much to Trump because this guy is just too far left. Other people say, you know what, Tim Walz, he is obviously going to collapse Minnesota's chances of going to Trump. Just going to tear that apart all in general, altogether. So um, the question really is, um, how will what will Tim Walz bring to the ticket? Now, Tim Walz was probably added in favor of bringing in the blue collar votes, and as you know, the auto workers, and that was kind of, I would say, Kamala Harris's attempt because, as you know, the key of winning the Midwest is the auto worker, right? The auto worker votes. The said that occupies now, I would say, um, which is currently involved in the said Midwest. Yes, Michigan, a state that is really well in play, is in favor of auto workers. And also, not to mention, there are a lot of people in Wisconsin that generally appeal to Walz, especially in western Wisconsin. So let's just say things go downhill in Wisconsin. Things go downhill in Michigan. We lose those states. Do you think we lose Pennsylvania? It really does depend. But I really don't think if we lose Wisconsin, then we could lose Pennsylvania. Wisconsin is not that liberal. So it really would then depend if things really, really went bad and how that would pretty much go. So, yes, don't get your hopes up. But yes, let's just say things go like we lose the whole Rust Belt. Can we still win? Well, technically speaking, let's see. We win everything else. And I would think no. Unless we get super lucky with Virginia and Virginia saves us. But other than that, I really doubt it. And just keep in mind, we have plenty of time to change this. So realistically, no, I don't think we can. Let's see. I'm missing something. Oh, actually, this would be a tie then. It would be an electoral tie. And the chances of that happening are incredibly small in this case. I would expect, you know what, Harris gets away with Arizona. It looks like this quirky map, which I really don't like. But this would be an example of a Harris victory. So realistically, a tie scenario would look. That's why campaigning in Arizona is very important. But going over who Tim Walz is, I know this guy. I know this guy's a clown. This guy is a grifter, and as a result, we continue to re-elect this guy. Everyone should know who he is. I mean, he served in U.S. Congress, so he served in federal office. So, and he's, as you know, I would say a generally well-spoken individual. So there's no, I would say don't underestimate this guy. Don't underestimate this guy. He will grift us. He will grift you. And yeah, overall, I'm very concerned. But yes, other than his policies, let's see his electability. Yeah, you'll see. Tim Walz doesn't. Yeah, he is somewhat electable. You'll see he flipped Anoka County, in 2018, a county that used to be a Democrat stronghold, but for the 21st century has been swinging more right. It's voted for Trump twice, but in this election, 2018, it voted for Tim Walz, which actually I bet you anything, a lot of people thought this county would go for Biden in 2020, but it didn't. But yes, this county went in favor for Tim Walz, so he's pretty renowned in this county. But yes, you'll see he gained areas in like southern Rochester and Winona areas. So yes, even that. And then you have the George Floyd riots, which you would say would be Tim Walz's, as I would say, really bad and really negative part of his said term. Very negative. This is where he gets his backlash. And in regards to, as you know, George Floyd and the George Floydification of America. And yes, overall, I would say very far left. A lot of Minnesotans don't like that he forces gun background checks. And a lot of Minnesotans overall, yeah, very, very progressive. He raises taxes. And as a result, we really don't know how to beat this guy. Like, seriously, this guy was reelected in 2022 by 0.27% of the popular vote. I did my part in the election and I voted for Scott Jensen. I attended one of his rallies. I almost beated him. But yes, I like Jensen. I honestly don't have a problem. He is establishment. He isn't pro-Trump, but he isn't anti-Trump. A lot of people say Jensen's anti-Trump. That's generally not true. Jensen's not a Trump fan, and generally he doesn't. And then again, I saw a lot of Trump people coming out to vote for him. Lots of MAGA hat wearing people at Jensen's rally. He took a lot of Trump votes, but not a lot of Trump, not enough Trump votes. And then again, if he took the whole Trump vote, there's no defeating Tim Walz, because you have, as long as Tim Walz solidifies 70%, as you can see in Hennepin and Ramsey counties, he's going to be the winner. And that's as a result what happened in 2022. He overall, despite, as you know, Scott Jensen flipping like Coochin County, Beltrami County, even Norman County was tied. He flipped that by a landslide. He won a landslide in this county, a landslide in Mahnomen County, which formerly was a Native American county. It's becoming more increasingly Caucasian. It is now pretty much a Republican stronghold now. He flipped that county and flipped back Anoka County. He flipped back Freeborn, Houston, Mower counties, and even Winona County. And barely, he got the same turnout as, let's just say, it went down barely a point. And that is because of Hennepin and Ramsey counties going more for Walz. So over around 70% of the popular vote. And that overall, guys, I'm saying is going to be probably a very, very hard indicator trying to flip Minnesota to get Hennepin and Ramsey counties to go down to the 60s. That's the only way you can win Minnesota. No, you can't win. You can't win, of course, Hennepin and Ramsey counties. They're pretty much solid in for Democrats. They're like Cook County or Manhattan blue. So there's absolutely no way we can win these said counties. But as a result, what I would say is we really need to focus on campaigning there anyway and getting them down to 60. Honestly, winning Minnesota isn't the number one priority. It shouldn't be the number one priority because we have to focus on the other swing states. I'm more concerned about Wisconsin, although I'm very comfortable with Tim Walz being on the ticket. I'm more concerned if a Mark Kelly would be on the ticket. That would pretty much put Arizona to the said Democrats, and giving states like Michigan and Pennsylvania, states that Republicans have struggled in, the states that Trump barely won, you would see Kamala Harris would comfortably win 270 electoral votes. So that is, of course, a good concern there. And let's just say Trump gets away with Wisconsin, the damage has already been done. Yes, he's at 268, and that is a good number, but that is pretty much all the votes he gets. So yes, that is the look here. Yeah, so I'm glad, and it's just foolishness. You would clearly go with Mark Kelly, but apparently Kamala Harris had an issue, probably with experience with Mark Kelly. She pretty much was like, okay, Kelly, you have been elected to the Senate for 4 years, and honestly, 4 years is very good indeed. But apparently, I don't know why, but Harris decided to skip Kelly, despite Kelly being an astronaut, an official that people generally feel comfortable with. People feel comfortable around this guy. And Kamala Harris has a special interest with this guy. And this guy doesn't appeal to her ticket of interest. She decides to go with a more left-wing governor who has been criticized endlessly and been scrutinized over the fact that this guy has in his record as governor. A lot of people in Minnesota like this guy because a lot of people in Minnesota are just screwed up. They think crime is so normal. crime is just a part of humans, a part of society. No, it's not. No, it's not. And pretending it's not an issue isn't normal. Apparently, in Minnesota, it is. So as a result, people reelect this guy because this guy virtue signals. Of course, I will give it to Timothy Walz, Waltzy Waltz. Abortion played a huge role. In fact, the Waltz campaign managed to collide with non-profit organizations to target Scott Jensen, attacking comments that he made allegedly as state senator of Minnesota, stating that he was going to ban abortion if elected. And as a result, Scott Jensen went out and said, hey, we're not running on an anti-abortion platform. We're actually running on a said economic and more fiscal platform. The attacks didn't stop, and the misinformation only continued. So and what ended up happening? Well, I'll tell you what happened. The Scott Jensen lost by 44.61%. Honestly, it really looked it pretty much what looked over to begin with. Yeah, there was, by June it was a toss-up according to the RCP average. But yes, there was this one poll from Trafalgar that really got me screwed up. Really did. I'm going to be honest. And of course, that was October 17th to the 19th of 2022. Trafalgar. You got a Tim Walz landslide poll released on the 30th. And that was pretty much the last poll. This is the average according to polls. 538, Waltz 8.8. Real Clear 4.3, and he ended up performing pretty well at 7, thanks to Hennepin and Ramsey County. But thankfully, the question is, will it look like this in 2024? And it could. It really could. Despite Tim Walz being a kind of demonized guy, a lot of people frown on this guy, and I don't blame them. I really don't blame them at all. But there's a lot of NPCs that live in the metro and that listen and believe in the talking points of Kim Jong-Waltz. And that's just the way it is. And it's disturbing and it's sad. But you know what? It's better than it points out the stupidity in the Harris campaign, that you could clearly go with a Mark Kelly and expect to win Arizona and even win Nevada. But apparently, I don't know, maybe it's because Harris comes from the West and she expects, I'm going to win this area anyway. But here's the thing. Hillary Clinton came from New York and she didn't win Pennsylvania. Heck, she even chose her running mate, Tim Kaine. A lot of people say, I would say election time, I think that's his name. I don't know if he says this for sure because I don't follow him. But there is it's alleged that he's saying, okay, that Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania goes blue if Minnesota, if Tim Walz is chosen as VP. That's not necessarily correct. Because let's remember Tim Kaine, okay? Tim Kaine was actually a pretty good pick according to Hillary Clinton, because let's see, Hillary Clinton's like, okay, I don't want to lose Virginia. Despite Virginia actually really pretty much going for Barack Obama, she pretty much didn't want to chance it, and she decided to choose Tim Kaine, the U.S. Senator from Virginia, who has actually had a good electoral electability in that said state. And she, as you know, expectedly wins the state by 5.32, which is pretty good. It could have been more, but then again, that proves how very minimal the vice or the running mate does play a part in the campaign. But then again, you would expect Tim Kaine to help Hillary Clinton more so win North Carolina. But then again, although she was predicted to win North Carolina, Trump won the state handingly. And more so, he won the state handingly in 2020. So it does show, guys. It does tell us straight out, just because your running mate, let's just say what Election Times is saying, oh, you're from Minnesota, therefore, but uh, Harris is going to handingly win Wisconsin, handingly win Pennsylvania, Michigan. I would say not even Pennsylvania, because Pennsylvania is just too far away. Hey, it's not a part of the Midwest. So Walz's, I mean, it could. Walz, as you know, tenure and legacy could be influential in Pennsylvania, or it could just an overall backfire. But I do know for fact that there are some Wisconsinites, and it's true because there are Wisconsinites, and just take another poll, and it will be, it this you would see Kamala Harris gain 251. That's all it takes. But if, let's just say, you get more people out voting in Western Wisconsin, I would say Western Wisconsin would mainly be contributing to people from Douglas County. Douglas County has the city of Superior, which is a suburb of Duluth, Minnesota, which has more people than Superior. Superior having only 20,000 people, Duluth around 90 to 80,000 people. So it's big. Duluth, respectively, bigger by 40 times. I don't really know, 40,000 more people. But yes, this county, Douglas County, doesn't really even have much people in there to begin with. So yes, Western, let's just say Wisconsin counties population map, because this can overall tell us, like, here's some counties that I think that would be influential, including Minneapolis, St. Paul. Here, yes, you'll see the areas. So St. Croix and Pierce counties would be influential of getting those voters. But then again, it's not even guaranteed, because voters over here are conservative. These counties will be going for, I would say, Trump. Pierce County is somewhat of a toss-up. It did go for Janet in 2023 in the Supreme Court election. But then again, that's a whole separate type of race. This is a presidential race. Most people will be voting in this election. And the St. Croix and Pierce counties have a history of going, let's say, conservative in 2008. St. Croix stayed loyal to the Republican Party. Pierce County did go for Obama. Here you got Pierce County barely going for Romney. So really, Pierce County is in play, possibly. But I really doubt it would go for, as you know, uh, Kamala Harris. But yes, you have areas like Dunn County. Dunn County has Menominee, which is a liberal city, kind of puts Dunn County in play, but this county is also set to be Republican. You also have Eau Claire, and Eau Claire is a blue county. Eau Claire is probably where a lot of the Tim Walz people expect, and that's what Trump really needs to do: campaign in Eau Claire, campaign in Superior. He needs to go back and forth between La Crosse, Eau Claire, and Superior, and try to get those, mainly those three said cities, because once again, with Western Wisconsin, Walz's VP, Walz had, although he is infamous, although we don't really, we treat him very well and very kindly in Minnesota, Western Wisconsinites generally say good things about him, mainly because Western Wisconsinites come from Minnesota. They have family that are from Minnesota, or they just grew up from the state, or they were formerly from the state in some way. So they're going to say good things about him. They're going to clap his cheeks, and they're going to go out and vote. So, and we want to stop that, right? We want to stop that, put an end to that. And how we do that is we campaign. Oh, yes, we campaign in Green Bay. We campaign in Milwaukee. We campaign in Madison, but we also campaign in the Western cities like La Crosse, Eau Claire, and Superior. We campaign in those cities extra hard. And I would say, heck, go and campaign in Ashland, which is right here. And campaign in Western Wisconsin abroad. And because yes, I would say Wisconsin is an important state to win. Yes, honestly, if Trump wins Wisconsin, it's not victory. It isn't we win yet. It isn't we win it all because we still, I mean, Michigan and Pennsylvania are generally more important. They're generally more important. And I would say Georgia, let's see. Heck, if we just win all we can just get away with Pennsylvania and Michigan, we win. A lot of people say, well, we would likely win Georgia. We would likely, if we win Georgia and Pennsylvania, we win. Like, this is the reality here. This is a less, but then again, very close race. So yes, Wisconsin, I would say, what would it be like if Harris ended up winning the county, winning the state? Well, I would say if Harris wins Wisconsin, it's likely that it's over. It's likely it's over. I would generally say it's over because if she wins the said state, then I would say yeah, there's a likelihood that she'll get away with Arizona. But you know what? There's chances that we could get away in Pennsylvania. Good news. We still have really good gains in those black community, and the black community is going to be what's going to help and possibly help us win the Rust Belts. Yes, is it true the auto worker vote is at stake? Absolutely, with Tim Walz. It after all, auto workers union they were the ones that were insisting that they choose Walz because he's so good with unions. But then again, he's not all good. He's definitely not good with truckers. Um, and so then again, what are your thoughts when it comes to Tim Walz? Does he offer more to the Harris ticket, or does he just totally um, take things more apart? Just totally hurts Harris in general. Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, I will see you all in the next political episode.